The Portico Library, imaginings from far away. The swill of constellations, spinning wheel dome, features in my dreaming, refracted, whispered light, swathes of stained glass, ridges and valleys of books, mantles of mountains. My longing is formless, ascending so I can lounge in the warmth of all your volumes, hymns of knowledge, the canvas of words, burning for the gaze of everything you hold. Strangers' books. Two 19th century logbooks were discovered by the Portico Library, and they held records of visitors that came between the 1830s and the 1850s, and this is dedicated to them. On the 7th of November 1840, Mr. Jones of Chester was signed into the library by two gentlemen, members of the Portico. Did he first look up at the saucer dome with its white curves enfolding plain glass and stop in the cloud of his thoughts? Did his friends gently tug on his charcoal frock coat to move him along? Was he an attorney, hat maker, honourable physician, brewer? Were his friends local? Calico printers, cotton merchants, dry salters? Before he eased into an armchair in the reading room, did he open a book, running his fingers across wave-edged pages before he read one word? Did he glance at the news, the Manchester Chronicle and Salford Standard, or Manchester Guardian? Did he lose himself in reports of textile tycoons, the push for freedom of commerce and trade, anti-corn laws, and the growing urgency to help underage children who worked in unregulated, dangerous conditions? Did he sense the afternoon sun fading as he read new monthly stories from Francis Trollope's Michael Armstrong Factory Boy, or the serial of the Old Curiosity Shop by Dickens? Did he arrive for polite literature, or politics, or history? Was he conversing with keen travellers from Amsterdam, Naples, Paris, New York, Philadelphia, or Prague? Did he search every wall, reaching out for ornithology, or Mary Somerville's On the Connection of the Physical Sciences, so he'd have something to talk about that night? Did he drink tea as he elevated the oration about ideas and possibilities of the future? Did he depart from his friends with reticence as he walked down the Regency steps onto the street? Did he go about his day undaunted, not realizing the black ink of his signature would be seen 181 years later, and we would think of him then, after reading in the Portico Library, a stranger leaving the land of books? The Moon, considered as a planet, a world, and a satellite, a book held in the Portico Library, written by J. Nasmith and J. Carpenter, 1874. If the moon won't come to you, let us build it up, crater by crater. The telescope has allowed keen eyes on its palette and attributes, measured plaster models as reenactment, geology of 24 Woodbury types, close-ups of the Valley of the Alps, Pico, Aristarchus and Herodotus, volcanoes. This new medium of photography against the sharp black of cloth, the physiography of all contours, inclines of rock, contorted chasms, vast black yawning depths, illuminated summits of central cones, scratch marks and lines of movement. Practicing with the back of a hand, watching light pool in the skin, taking pictures of a shriveled apple to construct ranges on a shrinking globe. We are lunar cartographers, deciphering codes of terrain, witnessing a solar eclipse, how the sun filters through. Dr. William Huggins was right. At the moment of its occultation by the dark limb of the moon, we will be certain our satellite has no atmosphere. We can become surveyors, an imaginary lunar traveller, every mountain backlit, casting shadows, while we daydream touching dust. A silver margined abyss of darkness standing on the surface as it glistens. We have for you in monochrome the powdery alchemy of observance. Spectrum analysis in its application to terrestrial substances and the physical constitution of the heavenly bodies. A book held in the Portico Library, written by Heinrich Schelling, 1872. Light is sleek and wordless, filling the intervals and pores of space, travelling without impediment, propagating in the body of the universe, an immeasurable sea of highly attenuated matter, imperceptible to the senses. Although the theory of light is now so completely understood, there are many ways to see clearly in this ether. The spectra not a ghostly apparition, but all colours united in a woven prism, belts of absorption lines, dark marks where light is restrained or absent, luminous vapours in shades revealing composition. We view the voltaic arc spiking an electric spark between metal poles in the stratum of air. Foucault's electric lamp, currents jumping gaps between two end-to-end carbon rods, or brightness as the Bunsen battery produces much discomfort to the eyes. Elements touching so their ends glow sharply, or incandescent lighting as the electricities attract. Geissler and Plucke's tubes, or a rainbow in rectangular, parallel piped bars of glass. Limelight of the flickering stage, calcium oxide burning, a caged opera of glimmer. Noticing the swirls of planetary nebula or bursts of splendour with gas streams in the sun, balls of fire seen through a telescope, the importance of illuminating our past so we can explore directly in front of us. Who knows what light we can shine into the future? Views of the Architecture of the Heavens in a Series of Letters to a Lady, a book held in the Portico Library, written by J.P. Nichol, 1837. To Miss Ross of Rossi, these letters are respectfully inscribed. Madam, dear public, I cannot deliver you all astronomy, only paint the awe and sum of magnitude, motions of clusters in possibly infinite skies, the formations and expanse of space, our firmament, the entire mass of stars. Trace your finger around the line of the Milky Way as it branches in two, the shape and dimensions of this cluster, elongated as outlines are finely lost, a diffuse starriness in the ribs of galaxies. The intervals between each brightness, hollow black, external and obscure vacancies. Are the different suns isolated or related, patterned from the womb of nebulae, their effulgence softening in the distance? We study with the power of new telescopes, mapping and harvesting the upcoming, charting boundaries, pinpointing radiance, the filmy or nebulous fluid shining of itself, the birth of all things, gravity in firm control, endless diversities of character and contour. Here on earth, we are infinitesimal. The great book of the universe comprehends so much more in comparison. This book, then, must seem sibylline, often incoherent. But we are not fragmentary. I can only hope to detail and share immensities, shimmer or phenomena, and the unity of all celestial things. Mysteries of Time and Space, a book held in the Portico Library, written by Richard A. Proctor, 1883. Even in the epoch of Tycho Brahe, we thought the stars were fixed. Everything is in constant motion. One day the moon will pack up its things, receding into the shivery sheets of space, fractured off from the earth and assumed the dignity of an independent body. This sleepy satellite, waterless and airless, will again retreat alone from any binds. The moon, a she, the sun, a he, the earth, ours. The sun with its orb-life luster sways the planets by its attraction. It holds no perpetual energy, mortal and resplendent, a full eclipse with its streamers, a white halo and shining nimbus. The corona is a true solar appendage. The tenuity of comets leaving cold, hazy trails, electroid action of some kind. Not portents of catastrophe, but keys to knowledge. Mars in transit reflecting brightness. 9 of the seas have this peculiar shape, bottlenecked. These 5 stages of any world's life, glowing vaporous, fiery youth, life-bearing middle age, a measure of decrepitude, then ultimate death. When our home finally resigns, radiating iron will simmer, clouds brooding in thick atmosphere. The universe as we know it tends to an end, which may be the beginning of new forms of existence. These stories of unhurried movement become the dynamic narrative of time. Winter impulses lure me deeper into the sharp lip of books. Afternoons tethered to the multitude of narratives or non-fiction revelations. The sun curling itself into vowels so it can ribbon its way onto my notebook. Those times I have stood out front on cold grey stairs waiting for friends. Taupe columns welcoming the ceremony of day. The anticipation of opening an atlas or tracing inscriptions in the leaves of pages. Walking into the dome with its skin arched. The radial panopticon plan plumb with the dais. Once a place where a librarian sat staring as readers were immersed or skimming the dexterity and quilt of words. Green lamps light runways into the centre as the eye spins up into the starlit octagonal delight. Flickers of vertigo if you glance up too quickly. 34.75 metres in diameter and height. Its oculus nearly 5 metres wide. This geodesic structure resilient to stresses, a kaleidoscope of knowledge open to the light. The compressions and observances of language are like rafts tumbling wildly in our minds. This room draped in secrets, encased in the lyric of hope.